do a barrel roll. Every situation.
Perfect.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 144 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We're back once again with our roundtable of hosts. We've got Mr. Nim.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We've got Mega Magwitch of the Husky Raid. I like that. You're a good hype man, Mega. I should just
I do my best.
keep you in my pocket and bring you everywhere I go just to announce the things that I'm doing.
Please let me be your Pokemon.
You just I got you. I got my Mega Balls right back there. Just get out.
We need
and
a
of
Mega
course,
soundboard.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Could you do? Could
I'm
that
sure
work
that
with an
can-
Elgato Stream Deck?
I'm sure that can work.
You could do it.
Yeah.
You'd have to make it so you could make audio sources in OBS that you could link to your Elgato. That when you hit the button, it activated the source.
I'm
and then
spoofed.
played it. There you go. You could do that.
Oh, so
That's the thing.
apparently, chat can't hear Mega and I.
I'm really spooked. So let me take
So
a
audio
quick-
issues. Here we
Audio
are.
issues? Go
They-
fuck yourself.
That's why when you're streaming, you just gotta roll with it. You gotta deal with it, chat. You have to interpret what it is Mega said, and I think you guys can't hear that. What's wrong with you? Is something wrong with your ears? I can hear that. You can't hear that. Figure it out. I agree, Mega.
Oh god.
That is point per point exactly what Bungie needs to do to completely fix Destiny.
Let me tell you, it was exhausting to describe. I'll never do it again.
Yeah. And for chat, you guys, if you couldn't hear it, I guess your ears weren't patrician enough. You aren't noble enough to understand what it was Mega said. It's like speaking in the holy language. Only certain people can hear it and interpret it. Which
We
you
need
can hear
Fallout
now.
to interpret Mega.
we do need Fallout. Yeah, Fallout's gone this week. He's got some stuff. He's getting ready to go on a trip, so he took a day off. By the way,
that
chat,
Turkey
you should
Day
be able to
coming
hear
up.
us now. Yeah, food day. We just get to sit back and do nothing but eat. That's right.
That awkward. You see your family, and they're like, "So how's that YouTube stuff going?" Day.
Yo,
That one.
for real, every year. I can't be the only person who gets that question. So
course you do.
how's that? What is that hobby you do? How's that talking thing go? And it's like,
I was thinking about making a video about gardening. Could you help me make that video about gardening?
I am the man to help you make a video about gardening. I can do that. Come to me.
That's
Mega's
legitimately
grandma.
a request I have gotten from one of my wife's family members.
Really?
Is to help her make videos about her gardening.
Well, did you?
Like, no, I did not. I was like,
Can you imagine a Mega gardening video?
Yes.
That'd be
What
amazing.
would I do?
Please. Yo, start the peer pressure right now, chat. I take it all back. You're all totally worthy. You can hear Mega right now, right? Obviously, that means you're worthy. Peer pressure. Force this man to make a gardening just live stream. Just gardening live stream. That's all you
all
gotta
right, that's it. It's settled.
do. You can just turn it into a late night PBS show. Gardening with Mega.
That'd be
Hey,
soothing
guys.
as hell. I would watch a gardening stream from
Hey,
like
guys.
a grandma, like planting
Mega
flowers and
here.
stuff.
Today, we're going to be planting carrots. Now, if you want to plant carrots, it doesn't really matter what type of carrot you want to plant, as long as they're the carrots that you want. Really soothing, like the Bob Ross sort of stuff.
Oh my god, that'd be
I'm into
great.
this.
I can see it. Gardening with Mega. I think we just made a show. Millions. There you go.
We'll link the carrots back into helping your eyesight for
There
those
you go.
long, strenuous hours of gaming.
That's the health thing. There you
There
go.
it is.
We did it. Destiny.
Destiny.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Right.
That exists. You could have
That's a thing.
an episode about celery. There you go.
Oh, perfect.
Ascendant.
We're gonna make ants on a
celery.
log. Yes, how to make ascendant ants on a log. Oh my goodness.
That smells like hive business, and I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it. But yo, we are here to talk about some Destiny, and man, has there been some Destiny in the past week. We had the faction rally come to a close, and surprise, surprise, Dead Orbit didn't win.
Nope.
Rigged. Rigged.
I present
Hold
this
that
to
out.
you.
You want to know why it
Edge
happened? I
lords.
take personal responsibility for it because I did not pledge Dead Orbit.
Thank you.
I wanted the new Monarchy Slug Shotgun too badly. I could not resist. I farmed my tokens.
That's
and
the
I
full
earned it.
auto one, right?
Yeah. That's the closest you're going to get to the chaperone with your fast rate of fire. Like, that's what I wanted so badly. I've never even held the thing for full auto. I just love that I can fire it again quickly.
Yep.
But I promise you all Dead Orbit supporters will be back on top next time around. All right? There's nothing Future War Cult I want. That's just a piece of crap faction. What guns do they even have I care about? I want some crappy hand cannon that explodes a little bit late. Ooh. No.
And isn't as effective as normal explosive rounds.
Exactly.
As it turns out, deals less damage. You know, it's funny because like it almost feels like Bungie took a direct hand in attempting to not let Dead Orbit win this time around.
Steer the result away.
You know, make the reward for Dead Orbit winning a garbage grenade launcher.
a single like shot grenade launcher.
Those are
the best.
Other than fighting Lion, if you're doing it for like the gimmick of Synthesep fighting Lion, why would you ever use one of the single shot grenade launchers like
it's still Garbo.
As your power weapon? Just imagine, like you could have the Legend of Acrius, or you could have a single shot grenade launcher. What the hell kind of choice is that?
You could have Wardcliff coil, or you could have a single shot grenade launcher. That's what you want. These are the big hard choices in D2. Fighting Lion over... Sorry, Cammy. Look, Cammy, bruh, I love you. I watch you play Trials. You do work with that Fighting Lion, but it's trash. It's trash, and you know it's trash.
Dude, Funpopo's all about that now lately, too. He's using it as basically the shotgun melee of D2. You hit that shot, you go in for the Synthesep immediately, and then you clean it up.
That's a real like combination.
It's a unique combination that's probably going to be really hard for 90% of people.
If we've learned anything from Destiny's history, is that thing is probably going to become the meta in the near future.
That's very true.
With the way Bungie buffs and nerfs things, there's no in between ground. It's either they're going to destroy something or they're going to make it the greatest thing to ever exist. Like season 2 is going to come out, we're going to get that balance update, and suddenly the Fighting Lion's going to have like 3 times the blast radius. It's going to have proximity detonation. And if you somehow manage to miss your shot, it's actually going to loop around the world and hit that Guardian. Maybe hit him twice. It's going to have
that truth tracking.
Yeah, man. You're not going to be able to get away from it, and then Cammy, then you may stand and smile on the hilltop. But for now,
you know what, that nerf, that balance paradigm that we're always in is the reason why you have people that have guns in their vault from like 3 years ago, just in case. Like, still got them D1 year 1 weapons just in case something becomes the new meta. Yeah, like so stupid.
Oh man, what a world this game has created. But yeah, so faction rallies complete. Dead Orbit lost. By the way, hold that. New Monarchy. We took it home, baby.
Yeah.
Is anybody else here a New Monarchy monkey? Because
I'm not a fan of dictatorships in general.
Until season 2 and until Future War Cult gets that really cool looking shader, it's been New Monarchy for me.
Yo, man, New Monarchy diamonds. Put it on everything.
I'm waiting for a cool looking Future War Cult shader for like 4 years now, or what?
I mean, kind of. And it's coming, so like, I'm okay with it.
You don't like a sloppily thrown together mix of like blue, purple, and orange? Is that what you're saying?
It looks like you handed a crayon box to a 4-year-old and asked them to design the shaders for a Future War Cult. All right.
Worse, it looks like you handed a crayon box to Naruto, and he was like, "This will look great." No. It doesn't. you did bad, and you should feel bad. But that's okay, because New Monarchy won, baby. And New Monarchy's the best. If you subbed a New Monarchy, you, my friend, have patrician taste. You are the nobility, and welcome to the regime. We've got diamonds, New Monarchy diamonds, everywhere.
I don't trust it.
Sexy.
How can you not trust something that looks so good? That Titan armor? The shaders? Come on.
New Monarchy absolutely looks the best right now. This time around, you got your Iron Man shaders. Like, that's fun and all, but I can never get behind this one dude in charge idea they have. It's just,
this one dude, these dudes who keep trying to take over violently.
We have your best interest at heart, though. We promise.
Fake news. But yeah, we got ourselves a sword as the reward. Have you guys had a chance to whip that thing out and slap some enemies with it?
God, that sounded disgusting. I have not. I'm going to be honest. I haven't equipped any sword other than the Weeb sword, like, ever.
Quick Fang.
Yeah, Quick Fang is where it's at. And that's the only one I use. Every time I'm like, should I try out this sword? I'm like, yeah, but it's not going to be as good as Quickbang. So what's the point? Like, why would I do that to myself? So
I mean, I think I took it out to patrol just to kind of, make use for it for like a quick 5 minutes. And then I was like, all right, where's my Eternity's Edge?
Yeah, that's enough of that. Because it's what? The Honor's Edge?
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. And as I recall, it's one of the adaptive frame swords. So it's got like the uppercut and whatnot. And it might have that ability where you swap to it. It does additional damage for a couple of seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is decent.
That.
Yeah,
Which is
okay.
It's decent, but I was watching Fallout play, and he was like, oh boy, great! So I can do more damage with my one hit instant kill in PvP. All right.
You want it to be 5 points more of damage, right? That's what you wanted. Yeah. That's okay. That is kind of a weird. I mean, I guess if you're using swords and whatnot.
No, it's great
in
for PvE. He just was salty because like Future War Cult had the fusion rifle, and obviously that's like the power weapon of choice of the three. But
it's pretty good.
But I feel like with Iron Banner we got like one of the best fusion rifles. If you don't have a main ingredient, so that fusion rifle that Future War Cult had was just kind of, to me personally, was kind of butts.
It's like the tertiary tier. It's the third option. If you don't have the wizened rebuke, if you don't have the main ingredient, maybe the Future War Cult fusion. I just love fusions in general, so I would have been happy to get that. But I think you've got a real point in Fallout. Certainly with all his salt, I think he's got a real point with the whole perk of dealing extra damage in PvP where you already one shot. I think it kind of brings up the notion of balance between PvE and PvP, and how certain perks on guns are great for PvE but don't do anything in PvP. And what do you do with guns like that? Or
keep them
swords
in the vault.
like that?
Yeah.
Wait until somebody says you want to raid. You want to do that new raid
bro.
layer?
You wanna raid?
Layer?
Raid layer?
Raid? What's that? What's a raid layer, Mega?
What is that? It's
kind of jumping forward in time here.
Let's jump forward, baby. Let's jump forward. Raid
Vex, do
layers
it.
are a fun way to introduce new raid content without all the hassle of designing new visual assets every few months. All right, that's what they are. Let's be real here, okay? Like, it's a way to. I'm gonna assume you're gonna get like a, let's say, Crota level raid content, like you're not getting a new King's Fall, you're not getting a new whatever the normal Leviathan is called, I can't even remember. You're gonna get small 6-man activity with a new story, new boss, also set on the Leviathan ship. It's got a lot of people iffy because
it has a lot of people iffy.
On the one hand, it's not a new raid. People want a new raid, but in my mind, a raid's real selling point to me is the gameplay, the mechanics, new things to do as a 6-man team. And this has all of that, all right? It's got all that going for it. It just doesn't have completely new art assets, which it seems like that's all they're going for, is how can we give people new encounters, like new raid encounters, without having it take 6 months to develop. Like, we want to be able to give them bits of raid as it goes along, which I think this is a cool way to do it, because realistically we weren't going to get a new raid anyway. We weren't going to get a new full raid with this expansion. A little disappointed that it seems like we're also not going to get one with the next expansion. But we are getting raid layers on both expansions, which are smaller versions of raids that take less time, with a new boss, new story set on the Leviathan. That's all we know. We don't know if the enemies are exactly the same. We don't know if we don't actually know what it's going to look like. We know it loads into the same point, but it could look really similar to the Underbelly. It could look really similar to the rest of the Leviathan. It could be some sort of mix in between. We have no real answer there, and if I were a betting man, I would say it's probably not going to just be Cabal enemies.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's what a lot of people
cool.
are worried about, that I've seen, is people complaining like we're just going to have the same Cabal enemies again. But I just feel like they're not going to release 3 like
Cabal featured raids.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm just going to throw out, the ship is gigantic, like dwarfs the planets around it. Yeah, like,
It's been all
so
over
huge.
the universe.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like say maybe there's some creative storytelling techniques they could do that have some other enemy types in them. You know, Callus captured a horde of Vex guys, and now you have to get through their prison cell. Like that took me 2 seconds to come up with right now. I'm sure the people at Bungie can come up with something. You know,
Reef pulled it off with the Prison of Elders. You know,
Yeah.
they had all the different enemy types in there.
Yeah, they
even
had
the
Vex
smelly taken. But yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, Bungie had a live stream last week, and in that live stream, they showed off the new world space, Mercury. They showed off a bit of one of the first story missions, and really gave us a kind of expansive walkthrough of the world spaces we'll be going through, who we'll be talking to, and some of the content we'll be getting into, including, as Mega just summarized, the new raid activity. We've all been wondering what exactly that meant over the past couple of weeks, ever since Bungie creatively worded it.
they did.
And-
They phrased it perfectly just to titillate us. Like, what could it mean?
And to its credit, the Destiny community immediately came out and said, "What's that mean? Is that just like expansions to the Leviathan?" And yeah, you guys were right. That got confirmed. It is going to be an expansion to the Leviathan, like what Mega said. Basically, think of raids, at least in terms of Leviathan. Leviathan's a big lobby. You can go to that lobby, you can start off the normal raid version of it, but it's going to have two other slightly smaller raids that are attached to it. The first one's going to be called the Eater of Worlds, and the next one's going to be coming in the summer DLC. And I think, I do believe their logic for this is probably going to be with every big release of Destiny. So right now we've got the initial release, we're in the launch period. It's going to have one big raid, and then the DLCs are going to add to that raid with like separate mini raids. And then maybe a year from now, when the big expansion comes out, they're going to add one big raid, and then they're going to add two smaller raids to add on to that. And it's because it's, to be perfectly honest, it's exactly what Mega said. It allows them to, what's the nice way of saying reuse assets?
If you think it's a bad thing, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
I don't necessarily think it's a
Yeah.
bad thing either.
Yeah.
But it allows them to more easily create content with already existing assets and build off of that. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Yeah, count me among the people who's bummed that we're not getting another Vex raid. I wanted another Vex raid. I like the Vex. But I'm not particularly upset, especially after they explained the way raid lobbies and whatnot or raid layers are going to work. I'm going to call it raid lobbies forever now, because that's just what it seems like. It's going to be a big lobby and you pick the activity you want to do. But I'm not too upset by it. And so long as it provides a new challenge, which it is, these are going to be different challenges. It's not going to be like a reskin of the same challenges from the normal Leviathan. It's going to have new enemies, a new final boss, and most importantly to me, new weapons, new armor tied to it. Which, if I'm getting new gear, I almost don't care where I'm going to get that
Give
new
it to me,
gear.
please.
So, yeet, I'll take that.
Yes.
And that was kind of a big surprise. I mean, I was hoping that they would address what the whole new raid content meant. I didn't think we'd be hearing about it this soon. Like, I thought
didn't
that'd be-
either.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they started talking about they had brought in the raid designer, I was like, whoa, what
Yes.
raid info? Yes, please.
Like, can we get the camera back on Deej? Is he panicking right now because, like, one of the employees going rogue? You're not supposed to talk about this. Stop.
Deej just tackles him from off screen. That would be incredible.
Big old takedown. So yeah,
I think like everybody else, I think we all wish there was another full blown raid. You know, like we all wish that there could be big, full blown, awesome raids every few months with expansions, but realistically, that just can't happen. So this is a good way to keep your mouth wet. You know, keep it moist.
It
while you
avoids-
wait to get that big drink.
It avoids another House of Wolves
Yeah.
no raid incident.
and you know what? I think that the first year of Destiny 1 was really the inspiration for why they made this change. Because originally, their idea was for every year, Destiny to have 2 content releases and then an expansion. And they wanted a raid for each one. And I think they found out very quickly after they scrambled to get the Dark Below out, they just couldn't finish a raid in time for the House of Wolves, and realized, I think they even talked about it during the first year of Destiny, that they couldn't keep up with that workload. They couldn't, realistically, they didn't have enough people to put out content that much, that quickly, in that short of a time period. And so I definitely think that's part of the reason for why we're going to be seeing raid layers be the new way to move forward. And I don't have a problem with that. You know,
Yeah,
as long as we're getting new stuff.
You know, just judging by the way, I can't remember his name. He was talking about this. You know, you're gonna die a lot in this new raid encounter, and you know, I'm fine with that. And when you think about like the comparisons, with like Crota's End, which was our second raid in Destiny 1, when you first, when you first are doing the challenge, or just the raid itself, yeah, it's difficult, but eventually we saw how short that raid really was, and I think
Strike.
I think it's gonna fall into that same category. That's, it's gonna be challenging at first, obviously, but then we're gonna be able to see just it's toned down in length. And
I think it'll be really good too, just as a middle ground for people who don't necessarily have the time or want to spend the time doing a full-blown raid. Like, it's good. You could raid, you can do a raid lair, you could just go do strikes, you could just run around and patrol, you could play PvP. Like, any amount of time you have, more activities depending on how much time you have, which is kind of cool. And I feel like maybe we're a little bit more lax on Bungie. Anybody who's ever had to do anything creative or create anything, things just don't work the way you want them to always. It's like you can't make things as fast as you want to most of the time. So I'm willing to accept a nice little middle ground if it's a little bit easier for them to give me some gameplay that is really enjoyable, like raids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, as long as we're getting new things to chase after, in my opinion, it almost doesn't matter what enemy type we're facing. Mm-hmm. It's you don't play the game to well, unless you're with that. You know what? Go ahead, send me the rage. I can take it because I'm not a hero. But outside of maybe Nim, I don't really play Destiny to come in and see a specific enemy type. I play Destiny to get loot. And you can keep your smelly Taken and Hive, Nim. Nobody wants to log in and see that. Nobody logs in Destiny and says, "Oh boy, I can't wait to see a Thrall." They log in to be like, "Yo,
yeah,
wait until the Savathûn expansion. It's coming. It's coming."
I get why people might not like fighting the same stuff, because maybe there are just some enemy types that really bother you. Like, I'm not looking forward to the thought, if it were the case, which hopefully it won't be, and I don't think it will be, of the raid layers both having asshole scions that blast me into the walls and ceilings all the time. Like, I'm not looking forward to that. But I really don't. I guess I've said before, I've given them credit for things that have turned out to be wrong, but I just don't think that they're crazy or dumb enough to like only have Cabal as the only type of raid thing you can fight for so long. We'll see, though. We'll see.
We'll definitely see.
We all know Cabal and Hive are the same race, split in different, like, if they didn't take the Worm God shit or whatever, I can't remember. There's some long theory crap.
They didn't take the worm.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't become Ascendant Hive buttholes, and then eventually they became Cabal. So we all know there's going to be Hive on the ship anyway. Clearly.
They get into everything, man. They're like roaches. If there's any sort of gap in your defenses, they get in there. It's just one Thrall gets in, suddenly you got a whole colony. Everything just smells like Hive, and that's horrible. It's like week old shrimp sitting out in the sun in Jersey. Shrimp from the Hudson. You don't want it. Nobody wants that. Oh, except Nim. He wants it.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
What else did we see in this live stream? How about that mysterious weapon forging?
Yo, man, I am excited about that. Not too excited, but excited.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about that.
So, for those who don't know, while they were giving us a bit of a tour of the lighthouse, they let slip that once you've completed the campaign for the Curse of Osiris, you're going to find this wall in the lighthouse, and it's going to kind of light up with glyphs, and there's 12 different spots on this lighthouse, and apparently they're tied to kind of like world quests that you'll be able to complete after you defeated the campaign and whatever boss we're going to be fighting at the end of that. And completing those world quests, very much like the world quests we have in vanilla Destiny 2, will unlock a weapon that you'll be able to forge at this really cool looking forge they have at the top of the lighthouse. And I think that's really neat. We're going to have specific weapons that are tied to that you can only get from completing those glyphs and completing those quests, and they specifically called it forging, which has got a lot of people in the community saying, "Oh man, we can make our own guns." And hold your horses.
I'm over here.
Yeah.
I'm over here like,
Probably
you mean
not.
we're going to get like 3 quest items and we're just going to have to go stand in this spot to claim this exotic?
Claim this exotic
what
or
I'm
something,
thinking it's
yeah.
going to be, but let's hope not.
You know what? I'll start with the far off romantic dreamer. I wish that this is going to be kind of a forging thing where it's like you have this specific weapon, it's going to be in a specific archetype, but you get to pick from a select maybe a host of perks that you can set this thing up, so you can have some kind of customization from it. I don't think it's going to be like building your own gun from the ground up. It's not going to be that, knowing the way things have gone in Destiny. And worst case scenario, it's what Mega said. It's just going to be a set gun that everybody. It's going to be the same for everybody. I really hope, since they're using the term forging, that it's at least going to let you customize some of the perks on it. Just a little bit of customization.
I hope
there,
so
Bungie.
too. That's what I hope for, but my brain just immediately went like, I just don't expect those kind of features yet, because everything they've kind of shown us of the expansion doesn't look like it's improving on like core elements of the game so much as adding onto it, because it seems like the Curses of Osiris expansion was probably mostly in development while they were making the full, still making the game. So the fact that it still looks like we're collecting coins and handing them into Brother Blind Boy,
Brother Vance, your man's, he's back.
Brother Vance makes me want to dance.
There you go. He might be the one dancing. Did you see how he responded in some of the cutscenes there?
Dude, he's pretty stoked about his idol. All right, he's like a fangirl meeting Madonna in the 80s or something. I don't know.
Your boy Brother Vance is back from the reef. He survived the attack out there, and man, that dude is an Osiris fanboy, losing his mind. I don't think I ever heard that dude talk so much in D1. And he's excited about it. Dude might do a legit dance when he comes face to face with the big man himself. But yeah, he's gonna be our vendor there in the lighthouse, and still going to be using tokens, so
your new piggy bank is here.
The return of passage coins for him.
Mm-hmm. But he will have a host of brand new unique weapons and armor. Mercury's gonna have its own unique loot pool, so there's gonna be some stuff to go for there. And I kind of can't wait to see it.
Those guns and that hand cannon shot. That looks weird.
It does look weird.
Recoil pattern.
It's not like this. It's like this.
It was weird. I don't know if that's specific to that gun or what, but like you could say it was on PC, but Deej was playing with the controller, so there would have been normal recoil when he fired it. And one of the game developers, one of the sandbox guys, tweeted out like that recoil on that hand cannon sure was weird. Like he tweeted something like that.
He's messing with us.
Yeah, he's messing with it. Somebody highlighted it who's in the know, so it means something. All right, and that's got me interested. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that when they were firing, when Deej actually finally took a shot, did that drive anybody else crazy? Just watching him sit back and let other people fight, and I'm like, shoot, I want to see that gun. And he's just like, all right.
They don't pay Deej to play, all right? They pay him to talk.
To look pretty and talk to us in riddles. But yeah, really weird recoil pattern on that. This is, of course, still in development, so it might change, but I hope it doesn't, because no recoil hand cannon, yay?
Yeah,
that'd be sweet.
I like no recoil hand cannons to make that dominant meta even worse on PC.
But if it makes the console more in line with the PC meta, then I'll be fine, because I'm not a PC boy, so I could really I would enjoy hand cannons being a little bit sexier on console. I still use them now, so they get a buff. All the better for me.
But we also got to see at least a little bit more and hear a little bit more about one of the exotics we'll be getting our hands on in the Curse of Osiris.
Ooh,
I do believe it's called the Colony, a new exotic grenade launcher. Did you guys get a chance to see any of that?
Yeah, I managed to get a little bit of gameplay on it, and it sounds interesting. I just hope it's as useful as
Tell me about
as
what it
sounds.
does, guys.
So basically, it's a grenade launcher. When the grenades make an impact, for example, if you hit the floor or something, little nano spiders or nanobots will chase after the target and do damage.
Yeah, so you know all those misses you get with grenade launches? Every single time you fire, if you're like me, well, when this thing detonates, it shoots out like these little insectoids that will basically act like a terrestrial form of wolfpack rounds. They'll look around, see if they can find a target, and then converge on that target. So congratulations, we might actually have a grenade launcher worth using outside of like play of the game.
I'm picturing the Spider-Man Unlimited suit little bugs that like form his suit.
Oh,
from the cartoon.
yeah.
So
The
that's what I'm
nanobugs.
hoping- Yeah. That's what I'm hoping happens. All right, that's what it is in my mind. I'm never gonna fire it because I don't want to risk that being untrue.
You can't face the reality. Well, we get we get a little glimpse of it in one of the trailers where Guardian just kind of shoots it at the ground and you see the bug kind of jump out and run towards something. We don't know how many of those insectoids there's going to be, but I hope it basically acts like a form of proximity detonation. Because grenades are rough right now, especially if you're using them in PvP. Don't use them in PvP.
Just don't do it. Don't do it right now. One thing we got that you have mentioned you wanted, TBL, Heroic Strikes. We got a Heroic Strike playlist. They didn't really tell us why we're going to want to do strikes, but hey, we got a Heroic Strike playlist, so that's fun, maybe. As long as I don't get that smelly ninja Tanix, whatever his name is.
Discount Tanix, yeah. Who's not the homie.
Exodus Crash guy?
Yeah, Mr. I just disappear after you do 2 seconds of damage on me and make this strike take 8 hours. You know.
What's that? I took 5% damage. Let me leave for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
You're on a timed nightfall? Oh, I'm sorry.
I have plans, so my bad.
Let me just glitch out and be gone for 45 seconds. That's what you want.
But I love heroic strike playlists. I love grinding out like strikes. So
yes.
I mean, that's fun. That's fun to me. Hopefully there's fun modifiers on them and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I just hope that the modifiers are just as fun as the Destiny 1 ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some of the Nightfall modifiers are just a little underwhelming.
Prism.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're getting Heroic Strike modifiers back. In D1, Heroic Strikes were far and away. If you weren't someone who was just interested in PvP, that was how you leveled. That was how you got stuff done in Destiny 1. Heroic Strikes in D1 were public events in D2. It was the majority of your time spent in PvE. And it's really sad that they kind of seem like an afterthought in Destiny 2 right now, because those are really fun. I go back and I play Destiny 1 and I just go back and I play strikes all the time, and it like I think right now in Destiny 1 the modifiers are like I think it's Solar Burn and Brawler.
Brawler, yes.
Yeah, so you can just kind of go in there as a Sunbreaker and punch everything to death, or whip out of a Solar Primary, just burn everything down, and it's so much fun. And that's something that's really it's something that's really missing from Destiny 2 right now. So when we heard that Heroic Strikes were coming back, I was super duper excited to learn more about them. And I don't know if they're going to be talking about it on this week's live stream or next week's.
They are. I think
are they?
Because I think week 2 is the activities that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Week 3 is going to be the fashion show.
Yeah, I like that part.
The
live team does fashion
endgame.
shows. That's
Yes.
truest end game. But let's take a little bit of time to talk about some Heroic Strike modifiers, because of course we do have, like Nim said, some in D2 that are a little underwhelming when you compare them to Destiny 1 modifiers. I don't think I can find anybody who would really argue that Prism is as worthwhile as just like a normal burn like Void or Arc or Solar or whatnot. So what would you guys like to see?
I really like Prism.
I mean,
I want to guess.
I wanted to do more. It doesn't feel as like effective
as the original burns.
And maybe it's just because you have to constantly swap things.
Yeah,
because
I like the constant swap keeps it fun for me. I don't know. I think one of the problems is that it says specifically on it that the burns don't affect enemies. So it doesn't, when it changes up the burn, it doesn't affect how I need to handle the enemies firing at me, which
That's
I
true.
feel like is part of what it should do, because that's what Burns did in D1. That was part of it.
You took damage, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Burns
took the
helped
damage
both
back.
sides, so it was like,
Yo.
shit, it's arc burn on like Omnigul right now. Like this sucks. Like she's gonna destroy me.
Arc burn light switch was like a nightmare with thralls. Thralls were never more dangerous than with arc burn light switch because their melee is arc for some reason, and it was just like, yo, come here, man.
Or like
But,
when it's the Shield Brothers with Solar Burn on the Nightfall.
Oh man.
You mean the stand on a pillar and hope that you
Jeez.
can get an angle on the
Yeah.
freaking dude?
By the way, Fallout, thanks for teaching me that. I had no idea. For like 2 years of that strike being out, I had no idea that was a thing. You taught me, buddy. You were my senpai that day.
Gosh.
But when it comes to Prism, just give me Rainbow Burn.
Yeah, might as
We
well.
we had that in D1. Just
Might
give me
as well.
Rainbow Burn. It made
guess-
things insane, but yeah, I like it.
I guess the benefit now that having Prism in the heroic strikes, hopefully, is that we're not going to be equipment locked like we are in most of the time in the Nightfall. So
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think, like, that's one of those things that really bothers me on PlayStation versus Xbox is the Borealis is like the perfect gun for Prism. It's like the first, like, I don't know, the first time I've ever felt like, man, this gun really feels like it would be really useful to have on like both consoles when
Yeah.
it's exclusive, because it's like the only thing you can swap out its burn on the fly. It's really its only issue is that its burn order isn't the same order as the
Yeah.
Prism burn order.
yeah.
And I mean, I guess you have hard light, but can you change
You
the
can't
burn on
change-
hard
no,
light
you
on a
can't.
Nightfall?
If it's
Not
locked
on the
loadout,
go. You have
can't
to
change
It's
lock
go
stuff.
in the
Yeah.
menu.
But you can't go into the menu and change things on
Yeah,
locked
because
loadouts,
if
right?
it's
So-
equipment locked,
man.
you can't change it.
yeah,
That's painful.
yeah.
Yeesh.
That's why Borealis is like the way to go.
Okay, so what other modifiers would you like to see come back?
Brawlers definitely one.
Brawler.
What else do we got? Catapult. That was a lot
Oh
of fun.
yeah. Oh my god.
Airborne.
Thinking about Brawler with the Winter's Guile Devour build. Holy Lord
Yes.
Almighty. Oh lordy, that would be busted.
That would be broken.
Small arms?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I always really like
arms
small arms.
specialist.
Yeah. Oh man, if you could, those are my favorite times when it was arc burn, small arms, and you threw on your Zalo, and you were just like, "Let's fucking
Oh,
go to
yeah,
town,
just-
baby!" Like this is about to be the easiest thing of all time, just melting everything.
Straight out of a Rambo movie. You never see him reload. Just
No, never really. There's here comes a nice wave of enemies. All right, all dead, and my clip's reloaded. Beautiful. Oh,
And
Yeah.
supers charged.
Mayhem? Yeah. Let's get Mayhem back in there.
we've
That
got that one.
Daybreak, what was it called?
Yeah, Daybreak.
Daybreak, yeah.
What is that one that we have in D2 that makes your melees and grenades and abilities, like it makes them charge faster?
Is
was
it Torrent?
Torrential Light?
Torrential Light,
Torrential Light,
yeah.
yeah. That one, I really like that one. I want to say only
Yeah,
for
I think that's almost like that's like a
that's basically that's kind of your mayhem
Yeah.
one, and it made the strike really fun if you were playing as a Night Stalker with the invisibility roll, because it was just
yeah.
invisibility the whole time. Like I was just running through it, not fighting anything on.
That's actually how I got my prestige Nightfall done. It was the arms dealer, and with torrential, and it was a fire team of nothing but titans with double pulse nades. So that was
Dirty.
So just
Yeah.
easy mode.
Yeah, it was super easy mode.
Yeah, and see, I mean, we're talking about these combinations which are possible in Nightfalls right now and how fun they could be. I don't understand why these modifiers weren't on the D2 Strike playlist like right off the bat, because that's part of the reason why you play strikes, for the crazy modifiers and to see how quickly you can get through some of these strikes or how hard they can get. And,
Now we got it though.
Now we got it,
It's all
man.
beautiful. It's all beautiful. It's all coming together. All right. We just need a little bit better gear dropping from these bad boys, or
That's the other thing.
some sort of
Yeah.
multiplier for streak going on in there would be great too. Anything like
Yeah,
that.
getting the strike streak back would definitely be something good if it could stack with like the fire team medallion and whatnot.
Because that thing, that kept me in strikes. The multiplier, I'd just be like, well, I've already got it going. I can't leave yet. I got
Just
to do like
one
5
more.
more. Like.
Yeah. But now that the live team is picking up the pieces,
Oh yeah.
Good way to describe it.
hopefully we'll see strike specific loot come back at some point sooner rather than later.
I mean, I'm really hoping so. I mean, this is the team that created strike-specific loot for Destiny when they were trying to come up with ways to keep people in those playlists, and they've said it's on their list of things to do, and I really want that to be a thing sooner rather than later.
I'm so for it, because those are like, I don't know, those help expand the world of the strike in such like a minor yet significant way, like wearing a flare cloak.
That was so cool.
Like,
I grinded that strike so much for all three of them.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like those types of things, they're just like really cool ways of like a trophy from having beaten this strike like 100 freaking times. You know? Like it makes it all worth it a little bit. Just that little thing to go after is great.
For sure.
So if they added strike specific loot in, and I do assume that they are going to at some point in time, would you prefer for it to be a random drop, or would you like the treasure key system to come back where you can guarantee that you get a piece of gear?
Random drop for me.
Yeah? Random drop?
I think with the way that D2 is right now, I would rather have the random drop, because there's not a lot of things that are hard to get.
You'd get it like that.
Exactly. So, like, I liked the key system by the end of Destiny 1, because it was like, all right, I've done this enough. Like, just give me the damn fake bringer. Like, like at a point, I was like, I just want this. But right now, there wouldn't be that much stuff. It's already so easy to get everything that having just, like, one area of the game that you could grind for if you really wanted to just grind for something, like that would be perfect, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And the way it would be now, like if they were to implement strike specific like weapons, like it's just that one and done, like you would get it just in that initial go if you have a guaranteed drop.
That first week.
And that's what kept it going for Destiny 1, because I mean I went back into the Sunless Cell over and over again trying to get that perfect
strike.
Fusion. Oh, that's a fantastic strike.
If you wanted a perfect fusion, you should probably have just gone to the Archon's Forge. I'm just gonna
yeah, you know what, I only got it once and it was butts.
Oh
no. And I have a lot of clears of that. Oof. I saw it drop many times. Perfect
never
rolls,
the right one.
But never for me.
I had a really good Saladin's Vigil. Let me tell you, I love that gun. Even when they nerfed special, I would still rock that bad boy. Just rolling around.
Good, man.
Oh, that was a great gun.
Speed of sound. Yeah, I think I'm glad I brought that up, and I'm glad you guys answered the way you did, because I think with the system we have in D2, random drops is probably better. If we were going to have guaranteed drops, they would have to have a huge loot pool. Like there would be a lot of things that you could get, because people would get all the stuff. Let's say you were guaranteed one treasure key a week, you'd have everything in like 5 weeks.
Yeah,
everything you want.
You don't want set rolls and like guaranteed rolls and guaranteed drops is like that's too easy,
It's too easy.
This was something that I was talking with I can't remember who it was. It was one of my friends, but if I would be fine, if it was like a one and done kind of a thing, if we were allowed to fully customize our gear, if every single one of those slots was just open for us to put in mods that would have like different, PvE perks or PvP perks, resilience, mobility or restoration mods. Let us choose
what we want,
how we want to like build our gear set. And if they were to do that, I think that would just add such a huge replayability, because then you have to grind for the mod parts, and then
grind for the mods.
That's that far down the line. That ain't happening for a long time if it happens at all. So we'll just put a pin in that.
That's what I want, though.
We all want our mods to be able to be at least
players
a little more
can dream.
Yeah. Do we want to do them? Open up for them questions, though.
I think now's a good enough time to open up for questions, and there's so many things to ask about. We've got another Bungie live stream this week. We're weeks away from the Curse of Osiris. I can't wait. Like, we got Thanksgiving coming up. You want to talk about Thanksgiving? Ask me Thanksgiving questions. I'll ask you a Thanksgiving question. What are you eating? Can I come?
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
For Mega and TBL.
Okay.
This is something that I was discussing with Fallout and a couple other people on Twitter.
Canned.
Okay. Canned. All right. Cranberry sauce, homemade, or the canned version, the one that comes that little squiggly Jello mold.
I'm all about the Jello mold. That's iconic to me. All right.
Me too.
If it doesn't look
TBL?
like it, if I can't see the shape of the can, I don't want it.
What about you?
So I've done both. I've made my own cranberry sauce, and I've had it canned. While fresh is, best, it's kind of hard to get away from just the ease of access of just being like, oh, I need cranberry sauce. Let me not spend 3 hours making this. Buy the can. Just get canned.
I like the can. To be completely honest, I have yet to try like a proper homemade.
I've had it
It's
homemade
good.
like
It's good.
once or twice, and my body was just like, "This is not the same food. This
What
does
is
not
this?
Make sense.
Where are my preservatives? Where's the chemicals?
It's not holding its shape. How do I even? How can
Your
I
stomach
even
was
trust
looking
it?
at you like,
Yeah.
why would you eat this? What's wrong with you?
I know where the canned cranberry sauce came from because I can see it. I don't know where this homemade crap came from.
I don't know. I don't know what you cook like. I don't know if you washed your hands.
Question: do we think there will be strike specific gear? Yeah,
Yes.
Eventually. Yes.
Eventually,
I
yeah.
think that one's easy.
I think they vaguely referenced it in that list we got from the Bungie Weekly Update a few weeks ago when they talked about making strikes more worthwhile to run with the rewards that they provide. That's a Deej way. I don't even though it wasn't Deej saying it. That's a Deej way of saying gear and stuff tied to strikes.
Yeah.
Yo, by the way, quick shout out to Kane's fan. His son's going to be 9 tomorrow. Happy birthday. Yo.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Nixon. Be good. Stay in
Happy.
school.
All right,
Don't
then.
inject ether. You'll start looking like a fallen. It's not good.
That's factual.
Avoid worms and the deals they promise you. Nothing good comes of it.
All right, Serotonin in chat asks, which gun do you want nerfed and which do you want it buffed?
He says talking types. So not,
Types?
Is it types?
For me,
Oh yeah, talking types. Okay.
on
yeah, I see that
console,
now.
I want hand cannons buff because I like using them.
Yeah.
Nerf, if I honestly had to pick, I'd probably say the triple burst sidearms. If I had to pick one thing, if only if I'm trying to maintain some sort of balance, I want everything to be on their level. Really, I don't want anything nerfed. That's my real answer. But if I'm trying to maintain some sort of, those kill so much faster than like everything else. It feels like that.
Yeah, it's like a 0.7
too
something
good.
time to kill.
Yeah.
It's way faster than everything else.
Only if I'm trying to, if you're asking me and I have to try to maintain some semblance of balance, it'd be easy to say auto rifles like Uriel's or Mida things, but I don't want to nerf all scouts and I don't want to nerf all auto rifles,
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't want to nerf anything. I want everything to be better. That's the real answer.
Yeah.
What about you, Nim?
Geeky Karma says, how would you feel about full sets of armor for each
don't wanna
strike?
Nim just dodging the question. Dodging the question of what he wants to nerf or buff.
All right.
Sheesh, man. Well, before we go on to that next question, I do want to say, Mega, some people have been able to play Curse of Osiris, and I think they reported back that the 3-round burst sidearms have been changed. Like, they don't fire as fast.
Get your man, the dev,
in Curse of
basically.
Osiris. You made it. You did it. You made that change. All right. So, what was the next question?
How would you feel about full sets of armor for each strike?
Yes.
I mean, you're asking me if I want more. Like, the answer's never going to be, nah, I don't want more stuff. Like, I don't think that would ever happen. It's inconceivable to me to imagine them doing that. If they did do it, I feel like I'd only be afraid that it would just be like kind of crappy reskins of other armor with like one
Probably.
slight thing changed on it. But
Yeah.
absolutely, I would love nothing more than for every strike to have its own like awesome armor.
That'd be
More
insane.
loot, more better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always
So-
More reasons to grind.
I've got a question for you guys now, since you got to ask us one, Nim. When it comes to Destiny 2, I get a lot of time going back and playing Destiny 1, so I get to experience the dichotomy between the two games and some of the things that I appreciate that are different between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and some things that I kind of wish would come back. I feel like in Destiny 2, we have very few exotics that feel really powerful, that feel really, I guess for lack of better terms, exotic. And the few I would name would be like the Wardcliff Coil, the Merciless, the Legend of Acreus. Those feel like exotic guns. They feel like they're not a step above legendary archetypes because of stats or anything, but because of their abilities. Like the Wardcliff Coil is ridiculous, and if you glitch, you can have like a 105 round magazine or more if you're insane. Legend of Acreus just blows everything away. Merciless is like Pocket Infinity, but toned down a little bit. Yeah. And when I look at that, and I look at a lot of the exotics we had in Destiny 1, I feel like a lot of the exotics in D1 were more powerful. They were something really to chase after and to covet. And I don't feel like a lot of the exotics in Destiny 2 match that sort of level. Like, there's nothing in Destiny 2 that matches up to Yallarhorn. There's nothing in Destiny 2 that matches up to the exotic feel of Thorn, of Pocket Infinity, of even just the uniqueness of the Vex Mythic class. And I wanted to know if I'm the only one who feels that way, or if anybody else feels the same. And certainly, chat, get in on this too.
No, I definitely feel the same way. And I think part of that comes into play is because I think exotics are much easier to acquire in Destiny 2. As they were in Destiny 1. I mean, at least, you know, in the very beginning, let's just, for, you know, comparison's sake, let's just look at vanilla for each game. You know, you had Pocket Infinity, that was quest-based, that was broken.
Yep.
Gjallarhorn was, you know, just completely RNG unless you were one of the few Guardians that was like, you know, take my coins on week 2. Or week 1 was it, I can't remember. So, you know, back in the day, it was just either Nightfall or Vault of Glass. Yeah. Those were your only two methods of, like, acquiring some
in-game activities.
Exactly. Now, public event, heroic public event, Nightfall, Crucible, Raid. Like, you just have so many more avenues of getting these weapons. And Bungie, I'm assuming, must have looked at that accessibility and probably just toned them down a little bit more than they were. Because, you know, again, that just alienates some people from certain activities. You know, again, if you look at LFG back 3 years ago, it's like must have, you know, Gjallarhorn to complete, like, you know, for Atheon checkpoint or for Solar Burn, Skolas.
Yeah,
you know, so no, you're right. They've definitely been toned down a little bit, and I think that's made exotics lose a lot of the luster that they had.
I agree that exotics do feel toned down, a lot of them. But I think part of it is that they made this push for legendaries to have their own identities too, whereas a lot of Destiny 1, a legendary was a random roll gun. Like, you knew its basic archetype, but it wasn't like, this is that gun with its behavior and its personality always the same way. And a lot of legendaries now behave in interesting or unique ways just as a legendary, and that makes it so if an exotic doesn't have something truly amazing like about it, like a Legend of Acreus type gun, that it basically doesn't, what's its purpose, you know? Like,
yeah.
And I agree with you.
I mean, in my usual loadout of things in Destiny 2, half the time doesn't even include an exotic. It's like Nameless Midnight, maybe Uriel's or Nurgle, and like either Curtain Call, Hawthorns, or, you know, if I really feel like I need it, Wardcliff or something like that. But most of the time I'm not using an exotic. And you're absolutely right. A lot of the exotics, we had a pool of exotics in Vanilla Destiny 1 that you could get from just doing, you know, Nightfalls and raids and whatnot, like Last Word, Hawkmoon. Oh my God, there's nothing in Destiny 2 that matches Hawkmoon. Good Lord. But then you had the other ones that were tied to quests like Thorn, Pocket Infinity, Bad Juju, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, when I Mega, you definitely got a point. I do believe they wanted to, and I even think they had an interview or two about it like a couple years ago, where they didn't want exotics to completely overshadow legendary weapons. I do believe they toned it down to put it in line with that, but at the same time, we did have legendary guns like Fatebringer, like Vision of Confluence, like Black Frickin' Hammer.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And those guns certainly could stand up against exotic
and then,
performance.
like, all of those became exotics, though.
Yeah, they turned into exotic.
Because of the fact that they were so good. Like, that's what's interesting. And I think, like, you look at something like the Quick Fang, I feel like that would have been an exotic in Destiny 1, or like that could be exotic. The way it behaves is like, as a hunter, that's like the best sword you can use because you are so fast with it. You can tear through people. It feels like it has an identity to it the way that an exotic should have an identity to it. And basically, I feel like we have too many Boolean Gemini type exotics and not enough last word type exotics. Like, there's not enough of those ones that really change how you play. There are a lot of really cool ones in there. Like, I think the Rat King is one that is like, I really like
that.
The way
that
it
feels
behaves.
exotic, yeah.
And the way
Tracker
that
cannon.
like the
Oh my god.
see, but the Tracker Cannon is one of those ones that sucks.
That's
but
a No
it's
Land
really
Beyond
unique.
exotic.
You know?
It's like a No Land Beyond,
Which is
because like
cool.
it can be, I mean, fun and in the right situations.
It's probably, in my mind, the worst performance-wise exotic,
Yeah.
but one of
On
the most
paper, it is
fun
the worst
exotics.
gun.
So I
Yeah.
don't know, like, I don't know where you fall with it. But then there's ones like the Strang and the Derm or whatever are like a really cool concept. But then if you don't have the two working together, then the one just is really
And
shitty
like,
hand cannon. Like
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to bring that up as an example. Just to keep parity between the games, an exotic hand cannon from one and exotic hand cannon from the other. You look at the effects and the abilities of Hawkmoon. Hawkmoon in Destiny 1, where its special ability is the lucky shots. You get basically 3 shots in that, 13 round magazine.
Yeah.
That can deal bonus damage. And in year 1,
you got that
sometimes
one bang.
every 1 in 100,000 shots, you would get all 3 of those bonus damage procs to just happen on one shot. I get it. You're mad because I'm talking about D2 exotics. Calm down, phone. But you compare that to the Sturm and the Drawn in D2. There's no comparison there. Like the ability between the Sturm and the Drawn just to get your ammo back while you're firing and whatnot. That doesn't feel exotic.
Cocoon,
it's
synergized between 2 weapons.
It's Cocoon with extra steps. That's all. That's all that gun is, and it's a good gun. Its stats are fine, but it does not compare to like the Last Word, to Hawkmoon, to Thorn. And I feel like a lot of weapons, not just exotics, by the way, legendaries too. I think a lot. Yeah, I've been asking this question all on my streams every day for the past week. But when you look at what are the best PvE primaries? What's the best PvE primary right now? You see, for legendaries. Answer. What do you guys think of the best PvE primaries?
Definitely, it's either Nameless Midnight, Origin Story. Ghost Primus is pretty good.
Ghost Primus is good.
Let's see what else. That's on. I don't use I think it's just those that I use mainly.
And I've asked that question on tons of streams this week, and the number one answer I always got was Nameless Midnight, Better Devils.
Yeah, I use Better Devils. That's like
between the two of those, what's the reason everybody picks those? Explosive rounds. One perk. They're solid weapons stat wise, but it's explosive rounds that puts those over. Yeah. You go back and we'll take the Nameless Midnight, and again to keep parity here, you go back and look at a gun like the Hung Jury.
Oh yeah.
The Hung Jury, triple tap, extended mags, or hand-laid stock if you wanted perfect stability, Firefly. That would be like a top-tier exotic in Destiny 2. And
that's true.
There's tons of examples like that with like Vision of Confluence and Fatebringer and a lot of the raid weapons, as a matter of fact. And it really kind of, in my opinion, it does feel like we lost a bit of power just with the weapon combinations and whatnot that we've got in D2.
Simple math would show that we lost 100 power if you look at the end
yes,
of Destiny 1
correct.
and the beginning.
We lost exactly 100 power. And I think that's across the board with like legendaries and exotics, and I'll have a bigger conversation of that later because I don't want to drag this on too long. But I just feel like it's narrowing in on the exotics there. There's not a lot in Destiny 2 that feel exotic the way the some of the weapons we had in Destiny 1 were, and that it bums me a bit. When I look at Sturm and Drawn, I want that to be as crazy and as fun and as good as Hawkmoon or The Last Word were in Destiny 1. And I understand the desire to balance those guns. Like, those guns definitely weren't balanced, especially in year 1. They weren't. Pocket Infinity was not balanced.
What they've done is they've taken like a gun and they give it a really cool perk, and then they make it like a crappy archetype. Instead of in Destiny 1, it was like you get an awesome perk and also it's like amazing at the same time. Like, it would be good if it were a legendary, and then we just amped it up a little bit, this would be kind of a burger legendary, and then we gave it something to make it a little more exotic.
We give it a special ability there. And there's been a lot of talk about how exotics should be balanced. Maybe I'm just an agent of chaos, but I thought I preferred unbalanced exotics. I preferred Hawkmoon the way it performed in year 1. I preferred The Last Word the way it performed in year 1. Go ahead and try to crucify me now. I preferred Thorn the way it performed in year 1. Yes, they were unbalanced. They were crazy powerful, but they were also fun.
I get what you're going with.
And you know what the balance for picking something like Pocket Infinity was? You want to know what the balance for a gun as crazy as Pocket Infinity was? You couldn't have Thorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You couldn't have The Last Word.
I see.
You couldn't have Hawkmoon.
You can if there's like 12 crazy OP weapons and you can only have one equipped at a time, but you could use any one of those 12 crazy OP weapons, then you've created like chaotic, overpowered guns, but they're balanced in the sense that there are other overpowered guns to defeat them.
Sure, you want to be cheese and run around with invective? Okay, I'm just going to equip Hawkmoon, stay across the map, and 2-tap you.
You know what's
or 1-tap you.
I had this same exact conversation in my Discord a few days ago with my buddy Wundam, because he was making the word by word the exact same points that you were talking about.
We actually read that conversation. That's where we're getting our points.
Yeah, thanks Wundam.
And I was like, I get that. That was fun. But then, when you look at it in a Crucible type of situation, it was like you could have the better positioning and, you can have the drop on somebody. But because RNG was not on your side and you didn't have that weapon, you are at an automatically disadvantage because this person can just turn around, tap you once with Hawkmoon, and go along his merry way.
Granted, it was once in 100,000.
I think what it comes down to in a lot of people's minds who want that Destiny 1 feeling back is the feeling of getting killed by a Hawkmoon isn't that aggravating, but the feeling of killing someone with a Hawkmoon is really fucking satisfying.
Yeah.
You die to it, you respawn instantly, you're like, all right, well, that happened. I guess I'll get over it and keep playing. You kill someone with it, you're like, yeah, that made my night, It doesn't ruin your night, so the balance of fun is in favor of it being a little overpowered at times.
That every now and again, full team wipe 7th column Pocket Infinity charge.
Yeah.
It happened to you and you're like, dang. But then you did it and it was like, oh.
Ooh, yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
You don't get that mad when you lose, but you're really happy when you win. I don't know. At least for me, that's how I feel. And at the very least, I think Quick Play could have that kind of chaos introduced in it. If you don't want that kind of vibe, then in comp, make it so you can't use exotics. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much in that I can rant on about the whole Quick Play versus comp playlist. I'm just gonna kind of TLDR it right now, but time to kill is slower. Supers regen slower. Why make this a 4v4 on a Quick Play when weapons don't do as much damage, supers don't regenerate as fast? You can maybe get to if you're lucky.
Really good.
Shoulder charge.
I saw Fallout get 3 once. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's amazing.
Wow, look at this man go. Shoulder charge is a charge and has actual melee override, and it doesn't one-shot anyone. So why is it now that we're forced into this comp scene on a Quick Play instead of keeping that 4v4 in that, competitive playlist? I don't know. That's just them thoughts.
Where's our action sack versus our comp feel? That's what we need, I feel like. But whatever. We're just some backseat game devs over here. Some armchair quarterbacks.
I like to imagine there's one person who's tied up in one of those crazy suits down in the basement of Bungie, no, let them go. Let the exotics be crazy. And they just keep him locked away, But oh man, you guys think that's a good enough stopping point?
I don't even know what question we were answering anymore, so I think that's a good time to
a big conversation about weapon balance and whatnot. Every week it comes back to weapon balance. I don't know how we do it. But thank you so much for tuning in to episode 144 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Before we go, we will let you guys know where you can find us all across the internet. And if you're here watching the live stream, go ahead, check out that Destiny directory. Tell us who we should be raiding after we finish this podcast. Get down there. We're going to take your suggestions, and the one that gets the most support, we're going to be tossing this host on over to them.
Bam.
But for right now, let's go through, let everybody know where they can find us across the internet, and if we've got anything special coming up this week. Nim, why don't we start with you?
Sure. You can find me over at twitch.tv/nemplays. And this week is going to be a little bit hectic for me streaming schedule-wise, but normally I stream Monday through Thursday over at the Planet Destiny channel, which if you're here at the live show, then you're in the right place. I usually go live right after TBL, and that's where you can find me.
Big stuff, big plays at Nim Plays. Yo, Mega, what's up?
Hi, my name is Mega Magwitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/MegaMagwitch every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find me at youtube.com/HuskyRaid, where I make bad Machinima episodes set in Destiny 1. Everybody bitches that it's still Destiny 1. But you know what? Until I get private matches, I don't know what the hell you want me to do. And also, all this footage was filmed like a million years ago, so get the hell off of my back. Especially since in episode 5, I specifically said all the rest of the episodes for the season we're going to be set in Destiny 1, but there's still that ass clown every episode who's got to switch to Destiny 2 already. Fuck you! But yeah, you can go there. Episode 7 should be dropping sometime this week if Thanksgiving doesn't fill up too much of my time.
Mega, can I tell you real quick that the last episode where you had the podcast crew on was just top tier.
Thank you very much.
It
was all
guys,
TV's voice.
if you haven't watched it, go watch the Husky Raid episode where they feature the Planet Destiny podcast. Guys, it is absolutely hilarious. Good stuff.
Great for the ratings.
TV, where can we find you?
Oh, right on. My name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. And, of course, right here on the Planet Destiny Twitch page. I do stream generally Tuesdays to Thursdays here on PD. I'm going to be hosting up the stream before Bungie goes live. I do believe that's this Wednesday, I want to say. We'll be running up into that and then doing kind of a wrap-up stream afterwards. So make sure you stay tuned, stick around, and we'll bring you guys some good stuff. But all right, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We hope you Guardians have a wonderful holiday week. But that is it for episode 144 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We'll catch you guys next week.